What's up, MFFLs? Coming up on today's show, Luka Doncic did an interview with ESPN's Malika Andrews and had a couple of interesting comments. We're going to break that down. Plus, more of your questions. We'll answer some at the end of the show. This is why you subscribe, because we're bringing you the latest Mavericks news, rumors. We're answering your questions on our mailbag video. So hit that sub button. I want to get to 20,000 subs before opening night. We're like 200 away. Help us out. Subscribe for free Dallas Mavericks videos. You're watching Mavericks Today by Chat Sports. I'm Harrison Graham. Luka Doncic did that interview with Malika Andrews, like I said. So I thought I'd break down a couple of interesting quotes here, and we'll bring Jeffrey Cooperstein into the conversation as well. This is what really stood out to me, though, as Malika obviously asked Luka, well, Jalen Brunson left. Does he need more help? He said that the Mavs don't need another All-Star to contend. Here's what he had to say in the interview. No. I mean, I think we have great players. There's plenty of underrated guys that I think should be talked about way more. Number one, Dorian Finney-Smith. He's worked really, really hard. He's one of the better defensive guys. If he's open, he's going to make a shot. Spence, talking about Dinwiddie, is going to have a big role this year. Talking about Christian Wood, he's a new player to Dallas, but I think he's going to be huge for us. So obviously you got Luka, who's your MVP candidate, your superstar, all-star level player. Dorian Finney-Smith, he just talked about, he is an established starting level player in this league. Christian Wood, we're hoping, is a high impactful player for Dallas. Luka mentioned him as well. JaVale McGee is a clear upgrade over Dwight Powell. Tim Hardaway, we keep forgetting about him. He did not play the second half of last year. He was not in the playoff run for Dallas a year ago. So if he gets back to being a 15, 16-point scorer, that's big. And then he referred to Spencer Dinwiddie, who needs to, carry a little more of the weight without Jalen Brunson. So Coop, what are your thoughts here on Luka saying they don't need another all-star level player? It's hard in today's NBA to win a championship without two all-stars, but we saw some guy named Dirk Nowitzki do it just 11 years ago.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I was going to say the last time you didn't need a second All-Star was when Dirk did it. So it can be done. Do they need a second All-Star? No. Would they really like one? Absolutely.
Of course.
I mean, you want to get as much talent as possible. Obviously, this team's still going to be great because they have Luka, who could be the best player in the world at this point in time. So the Mavs will always have a chance to win every night because he's on the court. Are they going to be contenders for the NBA title? Probably not. They probably need a little more firepower. But if these guys take steps up like Spencer Dinwiddie, if Christian Wood, plays to his potential as well, the Mavs will have a really good team this year.
Dinwiddie and Wood are the X factors to me because we know what Dodo is at this point. He's a really good role player, 3-and-D guy. Bullock, kind of the same deal, just on a lesser level. If Spencer Dinwiddie can be that Brunson level player, and if Christian Wood isn't just a good stats, bad team guy, if he can actually be a good stats on a good team guy and have a real impact here, then that changes kind of the thought of what this team could be, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in, say, the first 15 to 20 games of the year.
Yeah, and with Wood, he's coming into a contract year, so he has 1 year left on his deal. He's going to be motivated to play, and there was always questions surrounding him. Is he motivated to play basketball? Does he really want to be there? And he was on some really bad teams, man. I mean, he played in Detroit, he played in Houston, where they were tanking flat out. So let's see what he does on a team with Luka Doncic, with Jason Kidd.
Trying to win.
A team that's trying to win games and go deep in the playoffs. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Who do you guys think is the Mavs' second best player right now? It's a tough question to answer. I mean, I think it's between Christian Wood, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Spencer Dinwiddie. I mean, it's one of those three guys, if we're being completely honest. Let us know in the comments who you guys think is the Mavs' second best player right now. Before we get to your questions, a couple more quotes here from Luka, then we'll shift to mailbag mode. Here's Luka with Malika again.
He's talking about technical fouls here, Harrison.
Ooh, okay, this ought to be good. The thing about me is I don't want to lose, and that's why I'm like this. Off the court, I'm totally different, but I got to control it. It's not only a bad look for me, but a bad look for the whole team. Doesn't help my team, so I got to look to the teammates, to the players, and be better for them. Obviously, Coop, Luka's an emotional player. He gets upset when he feels like he gets fouled. All superstars kind of do this, but at times, it impacts the Mavs because the other team's running down the court and he's still bitching at the ref. So you got to find that balance of nudging the ref like, hey, man, he's hitting me on my arm when I'm going up, but also not letting it impact you on the defensive end.
Absolutely, and I don't think it does any help to his reputation as well with other referees because they know that he's going to complain about every single call. And look, me and you both, we don't love refs here on Mavericks Today, but I mean, Luka has to control his emotions. He can't get 15 technicals. He got 17 last year. 2 of them got rescinded. So he just can't have that,
No.
and he needs to control his emotions better for himself and for the team. Now, I will say this. Luka said the exact same thing last year, going into last year, that he needs to control himself better. Nothing changed. Am I expecting anything to change? Probably not.
Shout out Kane Fitzgerald, who is no longer reffing games. He will be in the replay center
Thank
this
goodness.
year. The extender Scott Foster still hanging around, but yeah, you hope with age and maturity, those things become lesser of a topic. One more here from Luka. He says, hopefully MVP. When asked about winning MVP, he said that'd be unbelievable. If I could be named MVP, it would be an enormous accomplishment. I would be so happy. But you never know. I hope I'm in that conversation, and he's certainly been in that conversation. He hasn't been a true finalist yet, but I would argue last year, after the first 30 games or so, he easily was one of the best players in the world. He's just kind of gotten off to these slow starts because, quite frankly, he's kind of like Zeke Elliott with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He kind of comes into camp out of shape, so hopefully he's into camp in better shape next week. We'll see how that shakes out. What do you guys think? Will Luka win MVP? Y for yes, N for no? He's going to be in the conversation, Coop, for the next decade or so.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's one of the top 3 players in the world, and when he is on and focused and locked in,
it's unstoppable.
I don't think there's anyone better on planet Earth, especially on the offensive end. We'll see how he comes into camp. I think that is a big deal. He looked a lot better with Slovenia. He was pretty in shape there. He was able to get up and down the court, no problem, and he was playing heavy minutes. So he took about 2 weeks off here. He's coming back to Dallas with Media Day on Monday, and we'll see what he looks like. Hopefully he's in better shape. Hopefully he's ready to go from game 1. It took him until what? It took him until Christmas last year after he had COVID and the ankle injury for him to really get going. So hopefully it comes here in October.
Y for yes, N for no. This should say 22-23, by the way. You guys get the point. Will Luka Doncic win MVP this year? Get your votes in the comments. Like we said off the top, hit that subscribe button. Media days are almost here on Monday. Then we got training camp, preseason. The regular season will be here before you know it. This is the time to subscribe to Mavericks Today because our coverage is going to ramp up once basketball gets here. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. All right, a couple of questions from you guys that we thought we'd answer before we sign off. Noah Mountain says, sign DJ Augustin to be the 3rd point guard coming off the bench. Coop, we've certainly talked about this, and here are a few names that we can list off here. We talked about this on our Thursday video. Facundo Campazzo, DJ Augustin, Eric Bledsoe, Elfrid Payton. Obviously, you missed the boat on Dennis Schroeder. Yeah, you're it's the bottom of the barrel at this point, but I would argue a couple of these names could give you some minutes.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you would like a DJ Augustin over a Marcus Bingham, who they're bringing into camp and was on their summer league team. I like Campazzo a lot, and he actually played with Luka over at Real Madrid, so that wouldn't be a terrible fit either. But I don't think any of these guys really move the needle, and obviously it would be for only a minimum contract. Maybe those guys are looking for something a little more. So I don't think any of these guys really fit what the Mavs are looking for, but you could do a lot worse than I think either Campazzo or Augustin.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it was a couple years ago, I'd say Eric Bledsoe would be a no-brainer, but he just isn't the player that he once was. Coop and I agree. You need another ball handler. That's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. Shout out to Greg Yorker, the headless wonder. This Ime Udoka stuff is crazy. Should the Mavs hire him as an assistant if he resigns as head coach? So
I don't know, man.
The latest is that he's not going to resign. I figured we'd be asked about Udoka, Coop, but I mean, look, he's clearly a good coach. I don't think he's going anywhere, but fascinating situation up in Boston.
It is crazy up there, and it sounds like that he's going to be suspended for the 2022-23 season. And then he's going to come back. I mean, I feel like the locker room would lose a lot of respect for you after something like this kind of happens. But they know what goes on in the NBA circles, so it's not a surprise, but it is disappointing, I guess. Udoka's obviously a great coach, got the Celtics to the finals in his first year. And if something crazy happened and he did resign, and would he
I'd
be
take him in as an assistant.
Would he be a great fit on the Mavs as an assistant? Absolutely. But I don't know if the Mavs would be in great shape to do that either.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Shout out Nia Long. You deserve better, Nia. Who knows what's actually going on? It's classic Hollywood scandal stuff. Appreciate all the questions from everybody here on Mavericks Today. Hit MFFL if you are a real one. Type that down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching today's show. Coop and I will probably be back Monday for a little Media Days reaction, and for sure by Tuesday we'll see kind of how the schedule lines up. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. We'll see you soon here on Mavericks Today.